Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do another compared to what. And what we're going to do is just look at some different knife brands and compare them. In this case, we are talking about the an equal end pattern. It is a double end jack. So you have a blade at this end, and you have a blade at this end. And the class of the knife this fits under is a double blade jack. But a lot of people call this a sunfish. Some people call it a elephant toenail. And we're going to answer that age-old question today. Of you can see they're different here. Is this an elephant toenail too? Is this a sunfish? And this an elephant toenail? What's the deal? So we're going to answer that question. I hope to see you in the video. Hey, welcome back to the Fortified Castle. Hi to all my viewers. Man, it is a beautiful day in Northwest Georgia today. Big blue skies, man. Just absolutely fantastic. Took a walk this morning. Actually did an EDC video. When I put it all together, I don't know, I messed it up. Every single video segment was incomplete. So I just come back from the walk. So probably was exhausted and didn't do it right. But anyhow, I thought I'd do this, but I had this on my mind. I saw a content provider talking about these, and he didn't really know the difference between the shapes here. You'll notice one is an equal end and one is more of a sleeve board pattern. And is this an elephant toenail, and is this a sunfish, or can you call a sunfish an elephant toenail, and what's the difference? And he didn't know, but he said he had heard people call them the same thing. So I'm in that boat. I've called these elephant toenails, and I've actually seen commenters. That's somebody who writes a book, who's smarter than me, and a lot of other people call these elephant toenails also. But I don't think it really is, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. But we're also going to be looking at these knives. This is the largest knife. It's a case. This is a frost. It's a little smaller than the case. This is a Rough Rider, which is a little smaller than that. And this is a Rough Rider, which is a little smaller than that. So we'll get right into it and start looking at these knives. So first thing, I find it interesting that these are all different sizes. You would think it would be a standard size. This is 4.5 inches. It's the case, and it's a 6250 pattern. Is it on the back? There it is, 6250. And Case has produced this pattern for a long time. I think the Case brothers produced this pattern also. And I did see an advertisement from pre-1940 advertisement where Case said this was 4 5/8 inches. So it has changed a little in time, and Case did call this an elephant toenail. So, I think interchangeably, you can call this a sunfish, elephant toenail. Some people called them, oh man, it's a big long name. I'll try to think about it. They were called pocket axes. And also an English sailor's knife. I think that's what they called it, an English sailor knife. There's no evidence this pattern was ever produced in England, and I don't think it was. I don't know why people called that. Here is your come on, I'm still suffering from the walk. The frost, that's what it is. So this frost is 4 1/8, which is 1/8 smaller than the case. I think it has the best pin blade of them all. The action's pretty soft on this. That's nice because you're talking about big blades, and you don't need 8 pull on a knife like this. And the nice thing about this one is you have, some nice reverse etch in there. That's a full view of a elephant there, and then the side view of it. I think it's really done well. It's really cool. I've had this for a while. It's held up pretty good over time. I'll show you the case, which is in bad shape, but you can still see the elephant on the case. So that's where Frost got the idea. And another reason why it's okay to call this an elephant toenail, because you got an elephant on there, and that's why the elephant is on there, because it's called the elephant toenail. But I also I had one knife that had fish on it, and the knife was called the Sunfish. So it's interchangeable for these guys right here. What you call them: pocket axes, elephant toenail, Sunfish. But it's not true when you get down to the bottom here. This is the Rough Rider. It's 4 in, I think it's 4 inches exactly. Some nice saw cut blue bone here. I like that. It also has a really good pull on it. You'll notice all the blades seem very similar on these. This is 440 steel on this one, probably 440A. Really nice knife. This was the first Sunfish I got because I wanted one. I saw it in a book, a collector book. I thought it was a gimmick. I was like, man, that's the knife company just making something outrageous. But when you get these, it's an aha moment, right? You get these, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I get it. Yeah, it's not a gimmick. This would be a great EDC knife for you. I'd like to see it in D2 steel. If I was going to EDC this knife, but it's how these knives actually started out. Originally, these knives were used by linemen, people putting telegraph wires up, carpenters, and dates back to the late 1800s, around 1890 is when this knife first became, I don't know, it's where you first take notice of it. It could have come out earlier, but I've also read that it was popular with oilmen, and they would use this big old blade to put on thick ropes that they used and pound down on the rope. And so this knife was meant for work here, and a substantial, heavy-duty working knife. That it's not a gimmick. It's a real deal. And once you get a hold of one, you understand it. And I like to buy vintage knives, but this is the first one I bought. It was inexpensive, and I just wanted to see, what the pattern was like. And that's one of the great advantages of companies like Rough Rider and Frost. You don't have to go spend $100, $200 on a vintage knife and to realize, I don't like it. So that's one of the advantages. So this is the smallest one, and this is 4 7/8. This was originally a 2-bladed knife. You guys who follow me know the deal on this, but I got a bunch of white bone knives to modify, which you can see I've modified this. And after I'd done the modifications to the knife, I was cleaning it up, and the back spring broke. So originally it was 2 springs, like this knife right here is 2 springs. It was just as wide as this one, but the back spring broke, and I was going to throw it away, and I said, well, wait a minute, let me just take it apart. And so that's what I did, and I made it a single blade knife. So in this configuration, with one blade like this, that's a jack. In this configuration with 2 blades, it's also a jack, but it's a double end jack. So normally this would be a pen blade, right? A knife with a blade at each end. But it changes how you look at these knives, whether they have an opposite end blade or whether it's like a traditional jackknife. In this configuration, this knife is really a sleeve board, and you would call it a jumbo sleeve board in this configuration. If it was in an original configuration with the blade at the other end here, like how I got this knife, then I think you would consider this an elephant toenail or a sunfish, but the name changes drastically if you change this into a jack. And they didn't make knives like these back in the pre-1940 era. They were around 3 3/4 inches, and they were known as jumbos. They used to call them jumbos, jumbo jack. But the blades were on this end right here, and they weren't double end. And so I think this is one of the things in the modern era. They took this pattern and adopted it to the elephant toenail pattern by putting a blade on the other end. Don't think there's any evidence of these in antiquity like that. They were smaller. So this knife is 4 7/8, and the jumbo jacks and jumbo whittlers were around 3 3/4. And this is 3 7/8. I said 4 7/8, didn't I? But yeah, this is 3 7/8. So I mean, that's the deal with these. If this style has 2 blades, then yeah, you consider it an elephant toenail or a sunfish or a pocket axe. If it only had 1 blade, it would be a jumbo sleeve board or a jumbo jack. And that's how you would consider them. The ones that are whittlers are jumbo whittlers. That's what they're called. So I hope I answered the $1 million question for y'all. What do you call this? What do you call that? And this is if it's small and has a single blade, or if it's a whittler, you would call it a jumbo whittler or a jumbo jackknife. If it just had 1 blade here, 1 blade here, it's a double end jack. And the double end jacks that are big like this are called elephant toenails, sunfish, pocket axes, English sailor's knives. And that's the deal. This is one I modified. So what do you think? I was going to send this to Pocket EDC, and that's why it has Canada coins in it. And I may still do that, but because the back spring broke, and this is a really tight back spring, so I have to use something to open the blade. And that's after when I took this apart, I said, well, let me lighten that thing up. And I polished the liners in this. I polished the blade area right there, you can see, to make it smooth. And this thing is still a heavy opener. And so I'd hate to give something to somebody and then have the back spring break. So that's why I never sent it to them. I call this lightning jig, is what I call that jig. I did that jig and then I dyed it. This is a red. It's kind of looking orange to me. So that red is, I think, is changing color on me. But I did this right here, the crown on it, and put it all back together. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I really appreciate your support and hanging out with me as we talk about these cool different patterns. And yeah, hope you enjoyed it.